Hello there, AceTrainerM here. Usually I like to talk about things which, conclusions I've come to, or my opinion, stuff like that. But here, I just want to really raise a question. It's not really an opinion of a matter. It's more a dilemma I'm experiencing. And it's about diversity in video games, specifically character diversity in video games. A lot of times, we don't have diverse characters in video games. I think we all know that. Like, even I, with the very limited experience I've had with creating video games, I've also had a lot, of usually pretty stereotypical characters. I never really try to diversify my characters. But here's the thing about diversity, because there's a pretty big conflict of what the diversity should be like in media, not just video games in general. And, basically, you got, essentially two different standpoints here. The first one is that diversity in video games should exist, just as, like, a thing on its own, because the whole point is that, the whole point of diversity and how people are different, but, they're just different in, I don't know, their sexuality or race or whatever, but other than that, they're exactly the same. So, just having a character like it, and, with a certain diverse traits, and that's it, not really brought up, not really talked about, because, that's, I think that's according to, this theory, the better thing to do, that exploring it, or that, essentially touching this topic way too much is pretty unrealistic. Like in our world, if we have, a homosexual, or we have someone of a race that isn't usually around, it's a trait they have, but it's not talked about. It doesn't have anything to do with the core character. The other standpoint on diversity is that the characters should be diverse, and the characters should be about their diversity, because, having a character that's just diverse for diversity's sake is kind of like a waste, you could say. Then you end up with the token characters. You end up with characters which are diverse just because. And the whole point of, especially something like video games, or other forms of media, that they allow us to explore these some might call unsettling territories. And if you make a character that's diverse in some way, you should explore it and see how it affects, the character and their relationship to other characters in the world, or other things in the world, their approach to things as this certain diverse character. And, essentially, I don't think there's a right answer, and I'm not sure what we should look for, or what we should do. Because, both these arguments are right in a sense. Essentially, what I'm coming from is that if your game has a certain story, has a certain thing going on, and these characters are just playing the roles in the story, and then you shouldn't have a big focus on the diverse trait. That it could be a thing, but you shouldn't focus on it. It should just be one of their traits, and that's it. Because you don't want you don't want it to get mixed up with the rest of the story. You don't wanna, if it's not the point of your game to send a message about certain diversity, you shouldn't. That being said, of course, certain games can also give good approaches to certain things without it being what the game is about. For example, this is only from what I've heard, I've never played, but Persona is a series really well known for its very diverse characters, and I don't think that, while they talk a lot about different diversity and different things, I don't think it's a lot, and it's a big aspect of the characters, but it's not, I don't think it's the core mechanic of the game. Like, as far as I know, it's a JRPG, or an RPG that's generally really considered pretty hard good. In any case, so that's pretty much it. Diversity is something which I think we should see more of in games. Not in the sense of that every character should be different and every character should be unique, but in the sense of having characters that correctly show the world we're trying to show in the game. For example, if we're showing, I don't know, like if it's a sci-fi game and we have aliens and everything, then it would make sense that it would be a world that's more accepting of I don't know, homosexual relationships, for example, because if there are relationships between different races, it's pretty likely there are also relationships between different genders in, a sci-fi world like that. I don't know. Also, racism between different factions of a certain race, like the human race, for example, that'll probably be toned down a bit. Stuff like that. So, it's something that we can't have, but also we should be very careful. It's very useful, but it's also pretty dangerous. For example, if we're trying to portray a society that in one way is very accepting of one thing, but very unaccepting in another way, then I think that's a pretty interesting idea to explore, to see how they accept one essential difference, but they don't accept another. And it's a very real approach, because we have it in our real world right now. For example, we kind of look back right now at, the Americans. I'm not American. But the Americans kind of look back and cringe right now when they look back at the relationship they had with the Native Americans, sorry. Native Indians, sorry. And basically, they say they realized they were very wrong and what happened there wasn't right. But if you compare that to, relationships that currently in our modern world are, you could say more unstable, like relationships with, the Middle East, with all the Arab nations, with Israel, stuff like that. It's not quite, we haven't really come to terms as much as we have, like, for example, with the Native Americans. And that shows us, how real it is to have one thing, like, we say it's wrong, but then we look at another thing and say, well, it's not so wrong. Stuff like that. Whatever, I'm just rambling on. But essentially, what I'm saying is, diversity in video games. There isn't a right way to do it, but different ways to do it. They can either harm your game, or they can be used to explore certain ideas. They can even be used to make the world of your game more immersive. But in any case, it's something which I think more games and more, things in general in entertainment and media should have. Because, there's nothing wrong with making something slightly more realistic. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching. Please write your opinions in the comments below. It's something I think that would benefit us all to try and learn from, this rather unexplored topic. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.